entire financial audit video and it was the wrong way. So now I'm forcing it to be this way so that the camera quality is not as good. I'm sorry, I had to watch myself do it. But hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be walking you through a financial audit, what a financial audit is, and why you need it in your life. So let's just get started because no one wants to hear me yap for 20 minutes about this, you know? So number one, what is a financial audit? Basically, it's a snapshot and overview of your finances, where you're at, the money coming in, the money going out, and overall where you want to go. You know, that's the whole goal of it, is to figure out the roadmap of where you want it to lead to. Number two, why it's important. I kind of just got into that, but basically your money, you have the full jurisdiction of your money and your goals of your money, and your money will not actually serve a value to you unless you assign a purpose to it. And that is thinking short term about your short term goals, mid-term length goals, and also your long-term length goals, and what you want to achieve financially, looking ahead for you, your family, your community, future generations, la da 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 da. So it's important to understand where you are now so you can figure out where you want to go. So I like to use this financial audit circle. I'm going to try and put it there. I don't know how good my editing skills are, figuring out where I am at. So number one is assessing your situation. And this is taking a full inventory of your income, your expenses, assets, and debts. So let's break down those. So your income is any money earned. I have really random ones. I worked like a restaurant job. I received some grants. I did some sports betting, not like a crazy amount, literally $5, but like I had some returns there. Don't recommend putting a lot of money in. As a financial education person, do not recommend that. It was just for the love of the game because I liked the World Cup. And then your expenses. So this is like any money that you pay, looking at subscriptions, housing, food. If you're not entirely sure, I recommend looking into your bank statements over the past month and just seeing what your average spending was. Maybe looking at 3 months as well. And then looking at your assets. So these are things that you own. I have like no assets. I realize, other than my stocks, I don't have like a car, a house. So my assets are not very high, but other than my brokerage accounts. But if you have like a house, a car, those are things that you own that have not liquid value, but are tied into some kind of numerical value. And then looking into debts. This is a little bit more painful than looking at your income and your assets, but your debts is the money that you owe. So this is like debt from student loans, you know, from car payments, from high interest rate credit card debt, looking at all that. So now after that, we're going to subtract. We're going to take all these components and puzzle pieces and put them together. So to figure out if we are in a surplus or deficit, we're going to take our income, which is all the money we earned, and subtract it from our expenses, so our monthly expenses. And after that, you're going to have either a surplus, deficit, or break even. Most likely the latter, surplus or deficit. So surplus means that you have some additional money floating around that you can put towards one of the sections of the circle once you figure out further after the audit. If you're in a deficit, it means that you need to cut down somewhere, you know, cut down on looking at your expenses. Maybe you're getting coffee a gazillion times a week. Not a bad thing, but maybe you just don't need it 5 times. Maybe you just need it 3 times. Maybe door dashing. Maybe instead going and picking it up yourself. Or maybe getting groceries. There are like little things that are maybe not needs that you can cut down on, but that's for you to decide, because sometimes I need my coffee every day and that's a need for me. And I don't want to cut down that. So I'm not going to tell you where to cut your money. And that's also I'm not going to tell you to spend your money, okay? This is your situation. Where is this in your and also no shame. Like, I spend money in some places that people think is silly. Like, I buy $6 egg white wraps. But that makes me happy, and it's a goal of mine to eat healthy. So again, your situation. Assess where you, or I feel like I don't want to cut down. That's me sometimes. Find ways to make more money, you know? I believe that it's kind of like a fun game to figure out, how can I earn random ways of money? And it's like a really fun game. I think it's empowering as well. Okay, number 2. So as we assess debt, we're going to address the high interest rate debt that is looming over you and burning away at any potential savings, and really a hammer in the way. Credit card debt in general, if you have any credit card debt, that is the first thing you want to pay down, because any kind of savings or investing that you'll do, it's like filling a bucket with holes in it. Like, you're just gonna, all your things you earn from that, from the interest from that, is gonna be much lower than the high interest rate debt. So you want to pay that off first, because it's gonna kind of just cause it's gonna be counterintuitive to try and save money while also losing more money over time, because it's compounding and also high interest rate. So pay that down in general that you have, and which we did earlier in ranking it from the highest to lowest. Low interest rate debt, such as student loans, you don't have the same urgency as the credit card debt, because you can pay that off over a lower period of time. In fact, if it has like 3 to 4%, you could pay that off way longer. And honestly, invest can earn you money while also paying it down. If it has like a 7% in investing compared to 4%, you know, you're gonna earn a little bit more money. So again, not all debt is urgently needed to be paid down. So after all the high interest rate debt has been tackled and is no longer existing, we're gonna get you an emergency fund. What is an emergency fund? 3 to 6 month living expenses. But before there, just save $1,000. That is like, or save $500. Just start the nest egg. And I think just $1,000 is the best starter fund and a goal to get there, a roadmap to literally, let me think, like $200 every month. 5 months, you're at an emergency fund of $1,000. And this emergency fund will give you that clarity and peace of mind of, oh my gosh, my car broke down and I don't have to go into more debt because I have that nest egg. And it gives you to be your own financial security blanket to go to bed at night and be like, okay, well, I can sleep peacefully because if anything happens to me, I can help myself. So now I think the next step is the balancing debt and savings. So if you have any lower interest rate debt, pay that down simultaneously if it's not as urgent, while also building your savings, because it's kind of counterintuitive as well, similar to the bucket analogy. Let's say another emergency happens while you're urgently paying down your low interest rate debt that it can be paid over a longer period of time, and then an emergency happens and then you have to take some random credit card debt that has a high interest rate when you could have been saving and earning interest on like a high yield savings account, and then just take that money and not worry about high interest rate debt. So simultaneously, once you get the 1,000, pay off the lower interest rate debt while also simultaneously building your emergency fund in a high yield savings account, which is important because you can earn 3 to 5% interest on a high yield savings account as compared to a traditional bank account, and this keeps up with inflation. You're not earning crazy money, but it's just keeping up with inflation, because inflation rate is about 2 to 0.3% every year, so your money will actually lose that much value. So it's important that you're keeping up with inflation. Okay, so then we're at the financial roadmap where you become debt free, baby. Let's go. I'm not sure how long this might take, but whatever. Your emergency fund's being built up, and depending on how much you're able to build up, I would recommend once you do this to go full-fledged into the emergency fund. You know, really strengthen it to about 3 to 6 months if you're an individual, if you have dependents, a husband or something to also take care of, or have like volatile income, maybe really doing it 6 to 7 months, whatever you know your circumstances best and what you believe can be 3 to 6 months of living expenses. So get that nice and cushioned, so if any emergencies do happen, the money's liquid, you can pull it out whenever in a high yield savings account. So simultaneously while doing this, kind of how we did the debt and savings balance, I think you can also do this little dance with savings and investing. So simultaneously start investing while also saving your emergency fund, because this allows your money to grow a little bit faster. And let me give you 2 reasons why you need to be investing. So 1, you're beating inflation. The high yield savings account keeps up. Investing beats it. So my favorite analogy with this is about 2.3% of inflation annually. So if it's in a traditional just regular savings account, it's losing money, but high yield savings keeps up. Basically from this, you're beating it by like 4%. So that means you're earning 4% additional money on that, and that really helps with compounding your growth. So the easiest point of entry to building wealth. So if you have an initial investment, let's say of $1,000, and you're able to contribute $100 over 5 years, In 5 years, you'll have $8,303. So compound interest is essentially interest on interest. So basically, it pays you on your starting amount and then calculates earnings on both your original money and also the interest that's already accumulated. So this continues a snowball effect. Similar to how debt, if you've seen that cycle, accumulates over time. The same can work in your favor for building wealth through investing. Yes, I'm not going to go to all the investing tips and starting how to invest, but overall, them and do that as well. So another thing is that we are all humans and that we are not robots. So we forget things naturally. So I think the best way to stay consistent with building wealth is how much is doing consistently. And that's the biggest thing with investing, is that you're consistently investing and growing. So setting up any kind of way to have that money naturally flow into your account is the best way to do it. And there's 2 accounts that I believe you should be maxing out first before individual brokerage, which is tax advantage accounts and also pensions. So if your employers match you, like a 401k, doing that because that's free money. And then Roth IRA has tax advantages where your money can grow tax-free when you pull it out, which can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars by the time you retire, which I will get into in a whole other video coming up soon, so subscribe. And also, I have my very first consulting business, which is Financial Sovereignty Initiative, where I work with individuals and supplying you with the financial education and knowledge to make decisions. I don't give you actual what to invest in, but give you the mechanisms and knowledge to do so. And you can do a consulting appointment with me down below, or if you have an NGO and you want me to do financial education teaching, I can also come. Really thank you guys for watching the video. And again, if you do want me to use me as a resource more and talk with me individually, my account is down below. You can fill out the form and schedule an appointment with me. And I also have the worksheet below about just kind of investing terminology basics. And I will also make a whole video about how to start investing in general. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. If you guys have any other questions, comments, please do it down below. And remember that financial education truly, I believe, is a gateway to fulfilling your dreams and being able to say yes to opportunities that you might not be able to, saying yes to yourself, because you deserve it. You deserve to say yes to the nice things, to go on the trips. You deserve to buy the things that you want and make your life better. Money is not evil. Money is there as an opportunity, and I think it's all about the way that we manage it. And I hope this financial audit was useful in that journey. Thank you guys, and please subscribe for more.